Hello, and welcome to this presentation about financial aid next steps. My name is Renee Swift, and I'm the Associate Director of Financial Aid at Nazareth, and I'm going to be presenting to you some additional information about financial aid and what to expect over the next few weeks and few months. We hope that you're staying positive and honoring the achievements that you have made this year. Not certainly what we expected, yet still an achievement. And we're very excited to have you join us in the fall semester and hope that you are as ready for this next phase of your educational journey. So as we begin this presentation, I'm going to share my screen with you so that you can see the slides here for your reference. This is my director's information, Jan Schutzo. A lot of the correspondence that you've been receiving over the last several weeks have been from her, although many of us do pitch in with these correspondence by preparing them. So we feel like we've all kind of been in touch with you as an office over these last several weeks. Here is Jan's contact information and our financial aid email address for your reference as well. So kind of an agenda of what we'll be talking about over the next few minutes is talking about the financial aid forms that are involved with applying for financial aid, some outstanding documents that may be needed from your student or from the family in general, billing information, financing options, work study, and also some online resources that we can share with you. So the first thing that we'll talk about, and hopefully it's not anything new to you, is about the free application for federal student aid, the FAFSA. This is the form that all colleges and universities use to help determine what federal financial aid a student would qualify for in the form of federal grants, federal loans, and federal work study. And some schools, including Nazareth, use the FAFSA information for our need-based grants. So the FAFSA is a very powerful form, and it helps us in many ways in setting up your student's financial aid award. I would figure the vast majority of you have submitted the FAFSA, and that also generated the offer that was sent out to you. However, for those of you listening who have not yet done the FAFSA, there is still time. I would strongly encourage you to get this done at the website shown there, the FAFSA.gov. And get that started and submitted so that we can have the information and then subsequently send out a revised offer. So the FAFSA, as I mentioned, is going to determine eligibility for federal grants, federal loans, and federal work study in addition to possibly some Nazareth need-based grants. For the signature portion of the FAFSA, the student is going to need his or her own FSA ID, which is a fancy word, not necessarily fancy, but it's a username and password. So it's a unique username and password for the student, and also at least one parent whose information is on the FAFSA will need their own FSA ID. And for the parents listening, if you have current college students or students that have been in college in the last couple of years, you would have already created an FSA ID for yourself, so you don't need to create a new one for this new student that'll be joining us in the fall. Parents' FSA IDs are good for as many children as you have, and the only thing that would be different is each of the children would need their own FSA ID. It takes about 5 minutes to set up. It's not unlike any other username or password that you would set up for an online portal. So you have access to that website there to get that set up if you haven't already done so. And the FAFSA is also available for download on your mobile device. So the app is My Student Aid. You would download that to your mobile device, whether that's a phone or a tablet, through the corresponding app store, whether your phone is an Apple or an Android. So it is a possibility to do your FAFSA via the app. And it's not required, but it is an option for ease of purpose in that regard. And also Nazareth school code is listed here. Each school has its own federal school code. It's a 6-digit number. You can search them on the FAFSA. However, we kind of make it a little easier for you so that you can just data enter that right into the FAFSA. Students who will be attending a New York State school are also encouraged to complete the New York State TAP application. This is a separate application from the FAFSA, where the FAFSA was federal. New York State is New York State. And students need to have a completed FAFSA on file in order for a New York State TAP application to be available to complete. There are also some other New York State grant and scholarship programs that are part of the TAP application. So any and all scholarships or grants through New York State will be applied through one application. Families with their taxable income of $80,000 or less will qualify. And then the awards would range anywhere from $500 at the minimum to a little over $5,100 for the maximum. So again, strongly encourage you to apply for this separate program to have access to New York State grants and scholarships. If you haven't already done the FAFSA, you do have the opportunity at the end of the FAFSA to go right into the New York State application. If you've done the FAFSA and are not quite sure if you did the TAP application yet, the link is there to go ahead and complete that. If you are doing the FAFSA in one sitting and then forget or close out of the FAFSA before you get to the New York State TAP application, don't worry about it. Give it a couple days, 3 business days in order for the TAP application to be created for you. If you close out of the FAFSA and then you try to go right into the TAP application, it won't be available for you to do. So we want to try to reduce the frustration there. Give it a couple, 3 days, and then log into the New York State site and get the application completed. And our school code is there. On the FAFSA, you have the opportunity to list up to 10 schools. On the New York State TAP application, it can only accommodate 1. So if there's multiple schools on the FAFSA, multiple New York State schools, and a different school comes over onto the TAP application, you do have the opportunity to update and search for the appropriate school code there. So, but we did provide our New York State TAP code. So that's going to be a 4-digit number. And then the federal code has 6 digits, which was provided on an earlier slide. So again, a lot of you have probably received your initial offer from us, and you may want a reconsideration of your financial aid. So we do have an appeals process that is personal and unique to each family. The link is here. That is sent directly into our office, and our operations specialist gets everything ready for our appeals committee and presents that to them for their review. NAS is where you want to be, and we certainly want you here, and we want to make this an affordable choice for you. So we would strongly encourage you, if you haven't already done so, to submit this appeal to us so that we can get a revised offer out to you, and you can make that all-important enrollment decision in a couple of weeks. Some FAFSAs are going to be requiring additional documentation. The financial aid offers that were sent out, most of them are going to include student loan options for the student. And because the student is going to be a first-time loan borrower, the federal government requires these 2 items to be completed. The first one is entrance counseling, which goes over the rights and responsibilities of the student borrower, as well as a promissory note, which is a legal document that binds the student to the loan that says that they are agreeing to pay the loan back under the terms and conditions of the loan. Both of these items can be completed online. Probably in one sitting, it would take about 40 to 45 minutes. So studentaid.gov, you would need to sign in with that FSA ID that we talked about, the username and password that was set up. So that would be good for 10 years, the counseling and the promissory note. So if your student is thinking of going through the bachelor's degree and then going into a master's program, a graduate program right after undergrad, they would still be in effect. So they're good for 10 years. Also, the FAFSA may be selected for a process called verification. It's about 30% of all FAFSAs that are filed are selected for this process. It doesn't mean you've done anything wrong. It's just a quality control that requires the colleges to collect certain information from the student and the family. The first thing is going to be a verification worksheet. And those forms are available on our website for downloading. And you want to make sure that you're grabbing the correct verification worksheet. There's two different types. One is a dependent worksheet, the other is an independent worksheet. So most of our students coming in are going to be dependent, but there are some students that are independent. So you just want to make sure that you're grabbing and downloading the right worksheet. For the income information, we would ask either to have you do the IRS data retrieval on your FAFSA or submit tax forms to us. And if you had questions about what exactly to submit, because there are some tax forms and tax schedules that we would require, but if you wanted to reach out to us separately to confirm what is needed, we'd be happy to answer those questions. And also, students will be receiving outside scholarship notifications, which is awesome. And we would ask that you forward that information to our financial aid email address. At this time, we're still working remotely, and we wouldn't want to have anything gathering up in our mail or possibly, being delayed in processing. So it's easier for us to receive things through email. So if you wanted to send us any letters of notification or send us copies of checks, just taking a photograph of them and sending a copy to us, we can add those in as part of the student's offer so that that would deduct off of any balance due in the fall semester on the fall semester's bill. So it's a pretty streamlined process through our FinAid at nas.edu. It was on one of the very first slides of this presentation. But we just ask your patience there. We do get several hundred of these a year, and it's a manual process to add them to students' records. But at this time, we would ask that you kind of hold on to the checks if you can. And once we are back in the office, we would gladly accept those at that time. Billing. Billing is a separate office from ours. It's student accounts. Billing is available online through NASNet Self-Service. That's a very powerful portal that has not only billing and financial aid information, but it also has registration information, advisor information. It's a very powerful tool. We'd encourage students to bookmark that and become very familiar with this self-service portal. We do not send paper bills, so everything will be communicated via email, via the Nazareth email, and notifications will be sent online. You'll receive an email in July with the fall semester bills, and usually after Thanksgiving, the spring semester notifications are sent out. So again, no paper bills. You just want to get that information through NASNet Self-Service. And we would encourage you to bookmark the student account website as well, because that's going to have more detailed information about billing, about due dates, and about payment options. And this last bullet I will draw your attention to is for your students to add you as a proxy, which is a fancy word for permission. Throughout the summer, we're able to have very free conversations with families about billing and financial aid, but once you're dropped off in the fall semester, that conversation kind of is not able to take place unless we have the student's permission. So you can have your student have access to billing and financial aid or grades or other things. There's a whole laundry list of items that students can give you access to. I would encourage you to get that done before you come to campus in August, because that proxy is very powerful. And we know you have questions, and we want to, be able to have those conversations and answer those questions for you. So proxy is a very important thing that you can do before you arrive on campus. So once you get the billing statement, you'll want to figure out how you're going to make the payment for that remaining balance due. I'll start with the middle bullet. Our student accounts office does offer interest-free payment plans each semester. There's currently a $25 enrollment fee each semester. And the earlier you enroll, the more time you can spread that over. So as soon as you get your fall semester bill and you enroll, those payments are going to be split over 5 months. But if you wait a little bit longer, it's going to be at a percentage down and then over less time. So if you wanted it over more time and less per month, you would want to enroll in this plan as soon as you can. So about 40% of our families take advantage of the payment plan. It's a great option for families to kind of spread that payment out. And then just kind of backtracking to the first bullet is, a lot of our families will rely upon the federal parent loan for our students. And this is a federal loan with a fixed interest rate. It's got a small origination processing fee that the federal government takes out of each disbursement. And, repayment plans can be flexible as far as, minimally 10 years and can be extended out depending on how much is borrowed. So the parent would apply and they would use their FSA ID at that studentaid.gov website in order to apply. So one kind of rule of thumb is when you are on this site to apply for the loan and it says welcome mom or welcome dad, that's your cue that you are applying properly. Sometimes we get students that log in with their own FSA ID to apply for the parent loan, and that's not the correct way to apply. It's only the parent can apply for the parent loan. The slide says to apply after June 1st, which is that is the proper time frame. However, a lot of our families prefer to wait till after they get the bill so they have a better understanding of what they're going to be borrowing. So we do recommend that you borrow for the entire year, a fall and spring semester, which would be August to May. But some families do apply semester to semester to kind of keep their borrowing at a minimum. If you have any questions, feel free to contact our loan counselor. Her information is on our website. Her name is Melissa. And then the third option would be a private or alternative loan. This loan would be in the student's name and would require a creditworthy cosigner. And the interest is going to be based on the credit score, and the repayment terms are going to be different based on the lender. So the student can choose a bank or credit union of your choosing. And then with the parent loan, there is a looser credit check versus a more stringent credit check with the private loan. But each of them are great opportunities for loan support, and our students do take advantage of both programs or in combination with the payment plan as well. So feel free to, you have time to research all of your options, and we have some information on our website that may help you with your decision about which road to go down, whether that's the parent loan or the private loan. But certainly both of them are great options for paying that remaining balance. Work study may have been part of your child's financial aid offer. The awards usually max out about $2,500 per year, which works out to about 8 to 10 hours a week. And it's a great opportunity for our students to not only become involved with campus, but also to earn a paycheck. So we have, for a small campus, we have probably between 700 and 800 student workers. And as I mentioned, it's a great opportunity to connect. And it's also a great opportunity to build skills for resume. It can be related to the major, not related to the major. Some students just, work in a random office on campus and just, enjoy being involved that way. It's the student's responsibility to find the job. It's not guaranteed. We put that on the award offer, but it's not a guarantee of a job. So students, most times that they are wanting to work, are able to find employment on campus. So once a student does submit their enrollment deposit, they have access to Handshake, which is an online portal through Career Services. And also you would have the opportunity to attend the orientation job fair in August. It's usually the day before the semester starts, that Sunday. And all the offices that are looking for student workers set up booths, and students can go around to see what opportunities are available. As I mentioned, students are paid every other week, just like we are as regular employees. These funds are not credited to the student account. So they're going to be receiving a biweekly direct deposit or a biweekly check for them to, save or use as, entertainment money, or possibly to pay for some an expense that may come up unexpectedly during the semester. So again, great opportunity for students to be involved and also earn money. So we kind of talked about the freshman year and what to expect for the documents and things. So now we're going to fast forward a little bit into the sophomore through senior years. So students are required to file their financial aid forms, their FAFSA New York State TAP, every October. That's the earliest it can be done. So if you're thinking about a timeline here, your students are barely a month into their freshman year and they're already being asked to complete their FAFSA for their sophomore year. So yes, October 1st is the earliest it can be done, but we set a priority filing date of March 1st. So anywhere between October 1st and March 1st is the ideal renewing of the FAFSA and TAP applications. And especially we recommend this for students who are going to be taking advantage of their Spark funding. So want to make sure and draw your attention to, there will be 2 FAFSAs out there at the same time. So you just want to make sure that you're grabbing the most recent FAFSA. So at the time for October 1st of 2020, you want to make sure you're grabbing the 21-22 FAFSA, because that will be the FAFSA that will be necessary for your student's sophomore year. So October 1st to March 1st is your filing window there. Award notices will be sent through the student's Nazareth email address, so a little bit different method of notification. And it's going to be a little bit later in the cycle. So as incoming freshmen, students were notified anywhere between January and March of their financial aid offers. For their future years, if they attend in summer, we focus on those students a little bit earlier in the process. So that's usually in an April timeframe. And then for students who are going to be with us in the fall spring semesters, we wait until spring grades post from the year before in order to set up those awards. So just a little bit different notification method and a little bit different in the timing there. So just kind of be prepared that you're not going to get that early notification going forward sophomore through senior years. And also keeping in mind that each award type, whether they come from federal or state or institutional from Nazareth, they all have minimal academic standards that need to be met in order for those funds to be renewed. That review happens either every year or every semester, depending on the fund. I would encourage you to become familiar with those renewal requirements. You will see those on our website. So I would encourage you to become familiar with federal regulation with regard to academic standards, state academic standards, and Nazareth academic standards. Here are some online resources for not only general information about financial aid, but also scholarship searches. You know, your students are probably in the midst of doing scholarship searches now. I would strongly encourage them to continue to do that and to not be discouraged. And, you know, we get hundreds and hundreds of these scholarships into our offices each year, or into our office each year. It does our hearts good to see these come in. It's really a great, you know, a testament to the students' drive and the students' motivation to fund their college expenses in any way possible. So there's some free scholarship search engines there, free reputable engines there to look. And then also on the left side of the screen is just information about general financial aid. So if you're looking to see about, you know, what's the difference between a grant and a loan, or if you wanted a little bit more information about what's a Pell Grant versus what's a New York State merit scholarship. So all of those sites there are going to give you that general information. And our statewide and national organizations are great resources as well. Those are NYSFA and NASFA. Those are our state and nationwide organizations that provide us a lot of great information and great training so that we can provide really good customer service to you, our students and families. So that's all the presentation that we have for you today. Again, here is Jan's email address and her phone number. As we continue to work remotely, we are still able to provide you the excellent customer service that you've been accustomed to receiving when we were in the office. We are, you know, fully functional at home and responsive to your needs. So if you have any questions as it comes up throughout, you know, this process, and you want to have someone meet with you on the phone, meet with you through one of these Zoom meetings, we are more than happy to do that. So again, we are so excited to have you with us in the fall. We're so proud of your achievements this year, and we hope that you continue to stay well, and we remain open to any questions that you have. Thank you so much.